Hello, welcome to the Confidence Cure podcast with myself, and we have I can't even get my words out, and we have the lovely Emma Walsh with us today, and she is joining us. So, hello, Emma. How are you today?
Hey, lovely. I'm good, thank you. Apart from my coffee cold, like you'll have to excuse me today, guys. I have got COVID, but we're here, and I wanted to be here because I've been speaking to Louise for quite some time. But this is just lovely to actually speak to each other in person for a change.
Thank you for coming on when you're not feeling very well as well. So that just shows how passionate you are about absolutely everything in your job and helping people and stuff. So, what is it that you actually do?
So I am a burnout and alignment coach for female founders in their first 2 years of business. I find a lot of female entrepreneurs struggle to find their rhythm in their first 2 years. They tend to hit burnout, and the ones that are really resilient, they keep coming back fighting and just feel like it's hard to build a brand that feels aligned to who they are, and instead pay into mentorships and build a brand that's aligned to someone else's success rather than what feels good to themselves. And I work very much with female founders to come home to themselves. I think that's the best way for me to put it, that they let go of sort of generational traumas that are holding them back. So this could look like the fear of success because no one else in their family's ever been successful, or the fear of large sums of money because no one in their family has ever had huge sums of money, and really just help them feel at peace. So when they do build their business, they're building it from a soul aligned place that they can take stuff from the work that they've learned from other coaches or other strategists and actually utilize it to their own perspective in a way that feels so aligned. So when they are posting content, they say, yeah, like that feels so good. Like I'm posting this because it feels good. I'm posting it even though it's messy, but it feels exciting to me. And that lights me up, seeing female founders go from being burnt out and struggling to I'm excited. I want to be here even if I have COVID.
Exactly. And I think there's a massive gap there because I don't think people actually talk about what it's like to build a business from the ground up. It can be such a lot of work, and a lot of people don't actually make it, do they? So, do you find that you have people that are on the brim of wanting to quit, or they're just like, I'm not up for it, or they just go back to their day job?
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of the women that I speak to, like they have a knowing in their heart that this is what they're meant to do. Like it's not that they've just plucked this idea out of thin air. Like they have this knowing, but they just feel like they're constantly pushing up against a brick wall, and that they're investing and investing and investing, but nothing's working for them. And like I say, they know that they want to be an entrepreneur. They know that they can be, but it's just like something is constantly constricting them, and they find themselves in that comparison of seeing people and knowing that it is possible, but asking themselves like, well, why is it not happening for me when it's happening for everyone else?
No, it's true. And like I said, I mentioned to you before, a lot of people are comparing. They see other people's wins and they think that's everything. And they think, why are they doing it and I'm not? Where do you fit into that when you've got clients come in for that?
So where I fit into that is really in that first kind of 2 years. Like I think having built a business in today's age, because I think a lot of the people that have made it, or they're, doing all the things, they started before everybody jumped on the bandwagon to wanting to be in the online space, and
Yeah.
before AI as well. Like I think AI has made a huge difference. And you know back 4 years ago, you could find leads very easily through comment sections, and people were more willing to wear their hearts on their sleeves in the comments. And now that's not so much the case because people are a bit more disclosed. And I really come into the space of actually helping you build a business aligned to who you are. So almost cutting out all the outside noise, because I think it's so easy to get lost. Like seeing this coach says you should do this, but this coach also says you should do this. And when you're first coming into the space, and you've perhaps got people pleasing tendencies that you're trying to please everybody, you're trying to do all of the things, and it can feel like really overwhelming. So I'm in that space of really supporting women to say, okay, well, what is it actually that you want? Like, how is it actually that you want your business to look like? And who do you need to be in order to become that person? Because you can't become a 7-figure coach or a 6-figure coach, because ultimately this is what most people dream of, that they can hit those numbers so that actually they can send their kids to higher educated schools. They can travel. They can be the parents that they didn't have. Like 9 times out of 10, it's not about the numbers. So let's get deeper into actually beyond that. So instead of, you know, and really looking at who they need to become to be that person, if
Yeah,
that makes
so
sense.
less of the what you need to do, start rather being rather than doing. So they're actually being their authentic self rather than doing a task that a coach has told them and that doesn't align with them. So it's becoming more natural and you attract what you are and what you need at that time, don't you? So completely makes sense. So why did you
100%.
actually change niche into that? Like why are you doing that? Why is it so passionate to you? What's your story?
So I was a I was a toxic relationship expert. You know, I helped women on an everyday scale overcome abusive relationships, traumatic relationships, and actually find healthy love. And I loved a couple of aspects of it. I loved seeing women flourish. Like there is nothing more amazing and heartfelt to me than seeing someone come as one version of themselves and leave crying because they don't recognize the person that they once was. Like, it's not that I want women to come to me and cry their eyes out. Like, I want come and work with me and you'll cry the entire way
I
through.
know the exact same, don't worry. But it is a good feeling that they're unlocking something that they haven't really touched for such a long time. So it's for good reason.
Yeah, 100. And when they can sit at the end of their journey and say, you know what, like, I don't recognize that person that I was at the beginning. Like that's when it's like, yeah, you've now changed, because everything else is going to unfold for you, like we just said. And I saw that and I loved that aspect. And I loved the trauma aspect. Like I love, as much as it sounds like probably a bit morbid, but like I loved how seeing how trauma shapes how we act, how we think, how we feel. And like when we look at trauma, a lot of people will think of trauma as like casualty on TV and someone's lost their arm. But when we dig into it, we look at like the generational patterns that we've learned. So, you know, seeing that perhaps our parents were always stressed about money, and then how we handle money. So, like for me personally, I grew up in a household where money wasn't in abundance. Like my parents lived from paycheck to paycheck, and it was always very stressful. So, when I started getting money, it was like, oh, how quickly can I spend this? Because I need, you know, and I carried on that pattern of living from paycheck to paycheck. And also then seeing when it comes to like female entrepreneurs now, like women that are too scared to do a reel and film themselves or speak on their stories, which, as we know, is what builds personal brand. They're too scared to do it because they're afraid of being judged. And, you know, or they don't think that they're good enough, or they don't think that they're pretty enough to be on that reel, and they don't want to accept themselves. So for me to see how trauma actually goes beyond a relationship and masters our relationship was just like, I love this. I love how we can actually take that block away in a somatic experience so that actually you feel calm and peaceful in your body, not just in your head. Was just like, this was really exciting for me. And the sad bit I found was, and the reason why I really changed niches is I'm quite an ambitious and driven woman. Like, you know, I'm my most bubbly self when I'm working with someone that's like, yeah, I've done this. Yeah, I love this. This feels good to me. And actually, I had this problem, but I use the tools that we've worked on to carry myself through it, because I don't want someone to come to me and be like, okay, I've done 6 months with you and now I can't cope. Like in the outside world, I want them to come to me and go, everything that I've learned sticks with me every day. So we create a long lasting result. And I then wanted to shift into you know, the female entrepreneur that says, I'm really struggling, but I know I want to make this happen
Yeah.
because I've been there. I know how it feels. And that's exciting because you've got a whole plate to play with of food as such.
No,
That makes sense.
absolutely. So going from that niche to this niche, there would have been some sort of like you wouldn't have been aligned properly when you knew that you wanted to change niche. So what was it? So this happens quite a lot, doesn't it? And anybody that's listening, if they don't know, if they're not aware of what's happening inside, if it doesn't feel aligned, you start to get symptoms, you start to get things. So can you explain what happened as you was coming to the end of that niche and you was like, right, I need to change because what would have happened to you? I've done it as well. I've changed niche.
I think it's a number of things, isn't it? I think like one of the biggest things was dreading the client calls,
Mm.
like dreading opening up my DMs and seeing the messages almost. And I'm gonna be honest, like, because that's something that I thrive off as well, is just being honest about what it is like when you get into that space of, when your niche is no longer aligned to who you are because you open up your messages and just think, can you just leave me alone? And like, I want to be left alone. And you don't want to deliver that value and that excitement anymore. And I think when you find that, like for me, it was like I was just getting chat GPT in the end to write my content because it's like I'm not passionate about this anymore. And this is then what starts to create that burnout, that we're not doing something that lights us on fire, so we get bored, and because we're getting bored, we're emotionally sucking ourselves dry. And that was the thing. I launched a product that when I made the original version, I felt my gut like, nah. But the coach I was working with at the time, I was people pleasing, and I was like, yeah, like this is what I need to do because this is what's going to help me make, this full-time income. And sorry. And I felt it in my gut. My gut was literally like twisting. I remember being on that call and I should have said no, and I didn't. And I launched that product twice, and each time it completely flopped.
Mhm.
And I was like, I resented it after the first time because it flopped so badly. And then I wasn't delivering in the true way that I wanted to deliver.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get on each call and think, "Oh, I'm so excited to do this." Like and it was just like I was putting on a show and not being my real self. And I think that's when you know that this is not for you. When you can't get onto a screen and go, actually, you know what? This feels really good, but this doesn't. And actually, I'm struggling with this because what I found was if you're writing a heavily emotional stuff because that's all that sells, like once again it's not for you because you're not lighting your soul on fire, you're draining your energy instead. Is that Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So like did you get any like physical symptoms? Because when it comes to burnout, like your mind like can burn you out more than physical burnout. And a lot of people think, I don't know why I'm burnt out because I haven't really, I'm sitting at a desk. I don't really like if they're not active, but the physical burnout, the mental burnout can be so much worse than an actual physical burnout. Did you get anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think like one of the biggest things was almost overdoing more. Like the one of the bigger things was feeling like I constantly had to do more, and what that was doing, it was like I'm working physically more hours. I'm stressed out more because I was trying to get everything like that picture perfect right. And then what would happen is because mentally I was so exhausted, like I would sit down at the computer to write stuff and I couldn't think straight. Like there was no consistent thinking straight, being able to stay in a zone of focus. It was like I would sit down, I would write a sentence and I'd start scrolling through my phone to like numb out,
Yeah.
or I just had like mental fog and my brain would go off to what's going on outside and everything to distract me from what I was doing. I'd be playing with my hair, and what would then start happening is the longer I ignored that and tried to push through that, I would then start to get headaches. And this is what I think where people come into that, like you'd listen to trainings, but you'd never actually soak it in.
Yeah.
And as we push through, because we've got to do it in order to succeed, is what we tell ourselves. And the headaches then come. And it's like, I'm drinking 3 liters of water a day. Why am I getting another headache? And that headache turns into a migraine. That migraine turns into a day in bed. Yeah. And then that's it. It's game over. And you need to sleep all the time. And I think that's where a lot of people go, well, burnout's just being really tired. But it's not, is it?
It
It's
can
like we
knock you
have no
out.
one home.
Knock you out. You can be in a conversation, but not actually physically there. You can be bed bound. You can be like literally, it can do so many things to you, and that can actually stop you from working. And it's worse if you are self-employed, like a lot worse. I remember when I was in. I've done lots and lots of mentorships now, and I remember I went into this one mentorship and it just completely didn't align, and I was like, it's not working for me. And they looked at my social sites because you're not doing a reel a day. They told me it was my fault because I wasn't doing a reel a day. And I went, no, I just don't feel like I want to talk about protein. I don't feel like I'm not passionate enough about that. Like there's a bigger, like there's it's every life is massive. It's not about like how many grams. That's not going to change someone's life realistically. I'm not passionate about it too much to talk about it in every single reel a day. And then like just do the reels. You'll make money that way. And I was just like, it got me so ill. And I was like, I just ended up not doing anything at all. And then I ended up leaving there, and then they chased me for money and sent me to court. Like it was so bad. So honestly,
Oh, wow.
yeah, they were really bad. So I completely understand what you mean. It can literally, if you're not aligned with what you are doing, it will shut you down and it won't work. Do you know how you said twice it worked, didn't it flopped for you? That's the universe telling you this isn't going to work for you. It's not meant for you. That's all.
No, no, do you know what? I fully believe that, because I think when I did after I was like, no, 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 we're not doing this anymore. And I actually, after the second one, people bought into the second one and I refunded them. And like you say about the universe, and this is like the craziest thing, and I'm not making this up, but I refunded these clients and then I got a tax rebate for more than what I refunded them all.
No, it's so that the universe is saying you're doing the right thing. They're like just like giving you that prompt, like you are doing the right thing. So like if it doesn't work out, there's a reason. Like what's already meant to be is meant to be. But if you're going the wrong way, they will make it hard for you. So you stop to make you hate it. Like some people that are probably listening to this think we're like proper woo woo. Like yeah, that's what they're talking about. But I really believe in that stuff.
No, and I think it is so true though, because at the end of the day, like, you know, the universe isn't going to ask you to bark up a tree that's not yours to bark up. And I think it will put you in a situation, because I firmly believe everything happens for a reason, right? And it won't, you go through these situations and you can either sit in a situation and ask yourself, okay, why is this happening to me? Or what is this actually trying to teach me? Like, as much as that whole phase of my career was a flop in an essence, at the same time it wasn't, because it's taught me how to build a group program. It taught me how to do lead funnels. It how with the marketing, what doesn't feel aligned, where my intuition's actually speaking to me. Like, this stuff is here to teach us something, isn't it? It's not just like a
You wouldn't be where you are now. You wouldn't have just got like, yeah, I want to do this because you wouldn't have had that first few years of business to actually go,
yeah,
actually, that bit's hard and I want to help people with that.
100%. And also, like, you wouldn't have the feeling of knowing what it's like to not be aligned to something. Like, I just probably would have gone through life like, yeah, like, okay, I'll say yes to everybody. And no,
That's the thing. And do you know what's really scary? The majority of people don't know what it actually feels to be aligned. Most people are used to being unaligned. Like that's the actual thing. So the fact that when people are actually listening to their intuition, I don't think people know to trust it. They will trust the thoughts, the ego of what you should do, the people pleasing. And I think that's the scariest bit that nobody, well, not I can't say nobody because that's generalizing, but a percentage and a large percentage are not aligned. The very small
no.
people.
And I can so believe that, because and I think when you're in this kind of line of work and you see people, not that you're analyzing people, like that's not the case, but you can see it in people. Like, I don't know if you're into human design, but I'm a projector. So I can see those things in people really easily. Like, and it's like, oh,
You see, you
if
can,
you
I can,
just did.
yeah, I can feel straight away. I can see from there. I can literally feel it, see it, and everything. Um, I just think it's sad, and this is where my passion comes from. I'm just like, the more authentic self you are, the more aligned you are, the better you will be with my clients. The more they put into them, the more they attract. They attract what they need. They attract what they want. They attract what they are. Whereas when you're not aligned, they're just like everything's scattered.
That's the thing, like when you're not aligned, I think there's a couple of big signals that say you're not aligned. Life feels like it keeps going wrong. Like life feels chaotic, it feels stressful, it feels panicky. Like I think they're really big signs that you're not aligned to your own purpose because you don't feel at peace in yourself when you're not aligned. Like I think something I've really learned is when you're aligned to what you're doing, what you're creating, who you're becoming, you want to do it like naturally. It's not like, oh, I need to do this today. It's a I want to really do this today. I want to be here. I want to do this thing. And just by talking about it, it lights you up. Whereas, otherwise it's a bit more like, oh well, yeah, I got to go
Yeah.
and do this today. And it's like just the two different tones of voice, isn't it?
There have been times before calls I've been like, oh, I'm really tired, I could do without this day. But how like I've come off the calls completely opposite. My calls have lit me up. So this is another way. Like sometimes we're all still human, aren't we? And I'll be like, sometimes you know what, I'm actually really tired today. I could do with just like having a lie in or something. But then I've actually got off the call like a completely different person. And it's another reminder sometimes, like actually, Louise, you do really love this. So there's times where I'm really excited, and then there's other times where like I could do without doing this today. And then I'll come off and I'm like lit up, and I'm like, I can't wait for the next one. And I love them because that also reminds me of just like this is why you are doing it. Like every single time I have like I'm speaking to someone like-minded or a client, and I'm just like sick, like it's really sick.
They're like the soul aligned ones that set your heart on fire, aren't they?
I literally love it. I literally love it. So like I think I was like that because I've been ill today, so I think I was starting to feel like yesterday, and I went into a call like I'm not feeling my best. But then afterwards, I was like, do you know what? It was actually really good. Like I actually really enjoyed it. Like it's crazy. Like you just know you have that feeling, you forget about it, and this is how you know like you can. I remember when I first started my business, like I was in panic mode. Like there's so many different things, life things going on, and every single time that I went into a client, I forgot about them all. I literally forgot. And I was just like, how? That's the only reason. But even when the first couple of years are hard, aren't they? That's the only reason I knew I was on the right path was because I knew when I was with my clients, I forgot about the crap that was going on around me. It was like, yeah, I'm on the right path.
I think that's the thing because it's not meant to be easy, is it? Like if
No.
it was easy, everybody would do it. Like that's something I always say. It's meant to be hard because I think, I don't love the phase that we should be delusional when we start a business, like, or we're delusional. In an essence, we are, but I mean, I think if you say that you're delusional, you're setting yourself up to say I was never meant to be. But like having your own business is literally the fast track to your own personal development because you have the hardship of the business, but yet you will become your most peaceful self in the process because you have to unlearn everything that causes you to stress out now to make things work.
Relationships do that and business do that. Like literally, they're the two things in life where you learn a lot about yourself. Like hands down, they are the ones where like, okay, what is this teaching me right now? Sometimes it's just like, why is this happening? And then it's like, I went through a phase where like this always happens to me, always happens to me, or it's happening for me, and I'm just like, okay, what's it teaching me? What's going on? I get semi-excited now when something happens because I know that something's gonna something good, something good's gonna come on after. Like, okay, yeah, it's a bit shit right now, but like I'm gonna learn something from this. What's coming? Like, and I get like excited. Like that's a bit sad, isn't it?
No, no, I feel you. I think that's when you know that you're well and truly past just the personal development stage and it is a part of who you are by that point.
Yeah. But oh, here we go again. But hold on, what we're going to be doing? Like, it is kind of exciting because if you can see how life can change and how you can develop and how you can break your own cycles, and you're like, okay, what am I breaking now? What's happening? Like, it's kind of exciting.
No, I get it. And I think the worst bit is stuff when you get to that point and it's like, you know what, I need to do really hard things. Like as we develop, I think some of the hardest bits I've had to face is like removing family members, like that you never thought you'd have to say not goodbye to, but just knowing that you have to distance yourself from them because staying around them is gonna like drain your energy. And I think I haven't met a single entrepreneur yet that hasn't had to go through
Yeah.
that type of phase.
Yeah, it's true.
And
I've actually it's my whole family, like my real mum, my dad, my brother, like literally all of them. I'm just like, I have to do it for myself. Like,
yeah,
yeah, like it's either me or them, and I choose me because I've got such a big purpose, and like it drains me. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm saying like,
I think and that resonates so much because that's the thing. It's not like we sit and say, oh, you're awful people, you're this or you're that. I mean, but you just sometimes sit and go, you know what, you're not aligned to who I'm becoming. And in that case, I have to take a huge step back from you. And I think the hardest bit is it's like you can't sit there and say to them like, oh, I know getting rid of you is going to be the best move I ever make because I'm going to be so much more uplifted and happy. Like you can't imagine that. We can't say that to them. But that's the thing, is like we know in our hearts that as much as it's difficult, the reason we're being pulled to take that step is because we know something's greater on the other side. And like I found this around my birthday, and then I'm on TikTok like the next day or in a couple of hours after dealing with a situation. And there's I don't really go on TikTok very often. Like it's very rare. Like I just go on there to post my stuff and job done. And I'm scrolling through TikTok having a little mooch, and a lady that does like the tarot readings was on there, and she was talking about how my or like your guidance angels are, you know, cheering you on right now, that you had to cut this person off and everything you've been wanting is waiting on the other side. And I don't take all of those readings by, you know, gospel truth, but you know, you just think this is so aligned to where I am right now, what is going on.
it's just landed at the right time, right space. No, I didn't like who I wasn't myself, and I wasn't myself. I didn't like who I was around them people, and it just like all I don't know how to explain how you just stuck. So it's just not good for you.
No, I think, and that's the thing, it's like there's a theory that I hang on to now more than anything. Um, you know, your peace is worth more than their presence.
Mhm.
And, you know, and that's saying if it cost me my peace, it's too expensive. And that phase, like that's become very strong because like you say, you around the wrong people, you won't be who you truly are, and then you don't get to shine. And I think that's exhausting enough in itself. Like when you come away from them, and you can tell those sorts of people because you don't, like you say with the calls, you don't get off the calls feeling more excited. You get off the calls or with that person feeling more exhausted. And that's when you know that perhaps we need to have some distance here.
It's not that though. If we allow that type of treatment or that type of energy, that's what you're allowing, and that's what again the universe. It's what they're like. Okay, if this is what you accept, this is what we'll give you. Give you like you set the tone for how you want to be treated. So if you accept that, or however they're making you feel, that you're going to get more of that. You've got to set the tone of what you accept, who you want to be around, what energy you want to be around, what like so you've got to choose, you've got to lead the way. You've got to be the person who you want to attract around you. Since I don't regret anything I've done, but now I can just see the people I've got around me are so aligned, so energy uplifting compared to what I did have, and that's why I don't regret it so much. Well, I don't regret it at all, actually. That sounds bad.
The bluntness there.
I have no regrets because I wouldn't be where I am now. Like, and I don't say that to everybody. Like, obviously, it's sad, but it's happier.
Yeah.
Because I'm
I get it.
happier.
I get it.
Like, oh, I know what I mean.
You know, I get it totally because in the essence, it's sad that that's what it's come to. But as a person and who you are and how your life's turned out because of it, it does become happier. And you do sit there and you go, like I say, it's not that we wasn't aligned anymore, but I deserve better now and I'm calling in better. And it's like that whole thing, isn't it? Like the very first step to any manifestation is declaring what you want. But you can't declare to have a life full of peace if you're going to keep letting chaos and drama into your life.
You literally, like the people who you spend the most time with, you literally morph into them. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't like, if somebody told me I would turn into one of them people, I would be mortified because they're not very nice people. So I'm just like, I need, like, I would actually like, I would be like, no, like that's probably one of my worst nightmares. And no, you got to be away.
100%. I think that's when you know you're cutting like those generational sequences, like time and time again. I think I remember I was doing so I did the Manifestation Babe Academy. And in there she has like a forgiveness ritual. And I'm doing this forgiveness ritual around like an ex-partner, and like he was like my last kind of like toxic ex, and letting that all go. And an ancestral version of me came forward, like, and she had her hair in plaits. She had like the full, I don't know what era it was from, but like they had like the white, like frilly type of apron that would tie round, and like the brown skirts down to the ankles. And I was like, this has been going back a long, long way. Like this pattern of relationships hasn't just been with me, it's been with her.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, that that's when you're cutting it off. And I said to my dad, when we were talking about the family member, I said, I just don't want my kids to have a life like we did with you and mum, and your relationship and how the family dramas like were. And he was like, he's just said, he was like, you know what, I so get that.
I was thinking about to say, what did he say about that? Was he like, what do you mean? No.
No, too. I mean, my dad and I were very close. Like my parents divorced, so my mum had an affair. Like, and I don't think it was like her first affair, and that was why. Like, I ended up, I dated narcissists. My mum was pretty toxic. Like, my brother was the golden child, I was the outsider kiddie, and like it was a very different dynamic. But my dad and I were always very close, and of course as I've got into personal development and got older, I've become a lot more honest, in probably quite brutally honest in what I share. And my dad, after the divorce, like he changed. Like my dad suffered with depression when he was with my mum. And, I think it goes to show like how much of a toll just the wrong person can take on you. Like he was on antidepressants, medication. She left and he was like a whole different person. Like when they were together, he would like squirrel money like so close to him because he was so petrified of not being able to pay the bills. And he would come home angry, and like they split and he's so chilled out now. And like you can have a conversation with him. Like we talk for probably a good couple of hours a week, my dad and I, and we we'll put the worlds to rights as such. And I'll tell him like, this is what I've been working on this week. And this is what came up because of what happened in our childhood. And he's like, he's really interested in it, but he sits there and goes, I'm so sorry. Like, and like I say to him, so like, it's fine. Like, I think what you have to remember is that generation, especially, didn't understand that what you say to us as a kid sticks with us as an adult. Like, it's not just as simple as that, is it?
Like especially in the first 0 to 7 years, you just absorb everything. It literally brain is like a sponge, and they don't even think you're listening, but you actually hear absolutely everything. You pick it up, and then 7 to 14, you literally play in them cycle that, and then you just live it, and you don't break it. Like in some way, shape, or form, you'll be doing the same thing that you was when you was a child, like as an
Yeah, that's
adult.
the thing.
It's
Yeah.
mad. It's mad when I
That's the craziest bit, isn't it? That you're sitting there like, I'm literally just doing what my parents did in different clothes. And
yeah.
like you see it over and over. And like, and I think, like I said to my dad as well, like how you say something and as a child, how we interpret it are two different things. Like
Mhm.
you might mean it in a way of trying to teach us manners, but we'll see it in a way of you're punishing us, we're not a good person. And like no one's ever going to be perfect, right? And I said to, and I explained that to him, and he's really intrigued and interested by it. And I think that's just the power of the knowledge, of just being able to have that knowledge and just say like, this wasn't your fault, but this is how it worked and this is what it created. And he loves it. He loves listening to it.
Like he's supportive of it because they could take it the wrong way, couldn't they? Like I know, like I know my parents wouldn't take anything on, so that's really good that you've got that like support. And he's like, you know what? I actually I understand what you mean. So that's really good. That's good. And what is next for you? So like, where are you taking your business, personal wise? Like, how's your journey, your like healing journey going? Your business, everything like that.
Now, what's next? So next for me is really my personal goals is doing a lot more speaking gigs. So I've actually got a 2-day speaking event. I'm speaking on stage in March at the Wealthy Women Conference, which is exciting. I've got a 5-step process, so I'm looking to really refine that. And I at the moment I do one-to-one, so I use that process in one-to-ones in like a somatic healing shape and like physical training shape. So you have a beautiful blend of mixing up where you are now, seeing the person that you're becoming, the next steps to then integrate that into building a soul aligned business. And then we do somatic healing sessions to clear the blocks that are stopping you from becoming person B, which is exciting and I love that. But the next thing is I'm looking to build a group program that's in the works, the New Woman Era Academy. So that will be rolling out next year. So that's the next biggest exciting thing.
Really exciting. And how are you personally now? Like you've been through that, now you're here. Are you feeling like ready? You still working on yourself? Like what's going on with yourself?
Yeah, so I think like because my partner's got a family farm as well, so where he's broken his leg, we're all on hands on deck sorting that out as well. So that will be coming into a close. So I think once that's come down into a close, I can come back to focusing more on my own journey. Like I say, I did like a 6 months to a year of somatic healing myself with trauma. I think the next thing that I've really fallen in love with is hypno breath work. So I would like to do a journey inside that. I mean, I'm halfway there, so I signed into a 12-month mentorship, which includes that as well, to support my business. So I think I want to continue down that road and really continue expanding the embodiment work that I do on myself because it's important. I think you do what's on you before you give out to someone else, don't you? And see how it works for you. So that's exciting. I think the breath work for me, that hypno breath work has been profound so far. So definitely the next phase, I think, is that.
Right. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram, Emma_J_Walsh. I'm also on Facebook, just at Emma Walsh. You'll be able to find me. Just look up for Aligned Business and Burnout Coach. They will be the two probably easiest access ones, and they have all my links in there as well, so you can access all of those.
Amazing. And again, thank you so much for coming today. You have been absolutely amazing, and especially with you not feeling very well as well. That you've done really well.
Thank you. I've really loved it. I think I always love the ones where the conversation just flows and you can have a laugh and, put the unrighted well bits to rights.
Exactly. No, and thank you. It's been such a pleasure to have you, and more than welcome again.
Thank you so much.